Yes, it's that time of the year again. Major League Baseball just ranked their top 100 players for 2025. Their rankings are so confusing. Like, I'll spoil one right now. Bobby Witt Jr. is number 3 on this list, but a few weeks ago, they put out a list saying that Bobby Witt Jr. was the 4th best shortstop. How is he the 3rd best player, but the 4th best shortstop? Also, wait until you see where they ranked Mike Trout. It is so disrespectful. Videos like this take forever to make, so if you appreciate the effort, do me a favor, leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget that these videos are brought to you by SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy. Use code Fuzzy. So the way that this video is going to work is we're going to reveal 10 players at a time, and then after we do those 10, we'll go to the next 10, but in between, I'll give my opinions on who's too high and who's too low. Just cracking the top 100. Starting off today's video, the Japanese flamethrower, Roki Sasaki. Honestly, I felt like because MLB loves their Japanese superstars, I thought they would go a little bit higher, but he just makes it at 100. Does that say Jacob deGrom at 99? Okay, I know I said I'm going to wait for my opinions. That's way too low. I don't care if he's been injured. The fast version of Aaron Judge, 6'7", James Wood. He's going to be such a stud for a long time. He makes it at 98. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Wyatt Langford, I think, won back-to-back, or if I remember correctly, it might have been 3 AL Rookie of the Months in a row. Wyatt Langford can flat out play, and if you guys didn't know, he's also one of the fastest players in baseball. Wow, Paul Goldschmidt's second half really saved his stock in this whole rankings list. He's at 96, despite the fact that he was awful in the first half. Maybe they think that he's going to go Oppo more in Yankee Stadium and take advantage of that short porch. I could see that happening. Goldie's former teammate, I don't even know if Nolan Arenado is going to be a Cardinal by the time that this video comes out, but they got Arenado at 95. Man, how the mighty have fallen. If Goldie came back, we would have had 3 Cardinals in a row at number 94. Mason Wynn, okay, I don't agree with Mason Wynn being higher than Wyatt Langford. Let me just say that. Look at me breaking my own rules. Okay, we're going to save the opinions for after the reveals. Ooh, back-to-back Cubs coming up. Dansby Swanson has fallen to 93. The defense is always going to be some of the best in baseball. The bat, it's pretty good for a shortstop, but it wasn't as good as 2023 Dansby. Coming in just ahead of Dansby, again, back-to-back Cubs, his teammate Ian Happ, who, by the way, has won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. He's also increased the home runs and OPS plus in those 3 seasons. Ian Happ is a dog. And rounding out the first 10 players, Brandon Nimmo, one of my favorite players in baseball just because he literally sprints to first base after a walk. Who does that? He was banged up over the course of 2024, so I expect a bounce back from Nimmo. That's the only reason why he's not in the top 70. Me personally, I don't have an issue with them putting Roki in the top 100. I do have an issue with Jacob deGrom at 99, and honestly, I would have put Wyatt Langford a little bit higher. So if you're a Rangers fan, you like me a lot right now. Making our way to the top 90, Lawrence Butler, who is one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball down the stretch last year, he cracks the top 100. Scary Kerry Carpenter at 89. We also call him Kerry Bonds, one of my favorite hitters to watch because he just flat out demolishes right-handed pitching. I'm pretty sure that Justin Steele would have a field day with Kerry Carpenter because he's a nasty and crafty lefty. He's at 88. I'm looking at 87 to 81. This is the final pitcher that we're going to talk about for a few picks. Bryce Miller, who's like the 3 or 4 starter for the Mariners, is making the top 100 as well. They have Wilson Contreras as a catcher, but the Cardinals have basically confirmed that Wilson is no longer going to be a catcher. He's the Goldie replacement at first base, and man, Wilson absolutely rakes. The whole family rakes. Would you look at that? Alex Bregman's replacement in Houston, Isaac Paredes, he's at 85. Is he better than Wilson Contreras? Okay, wait, no, I can't give my opinions yet. I've said this in other videos. Isaac Paredes with the Crawford boxes in left field is going to be cinema. Jerks and Profar had a monster 2024. Maybe they're factoring in age. Maybe they're factoring in his defense. He's only at 84, despite the fact that he was a top 25-30 hitter last year. A lot of people are not going to agree with Luis Ariz, the 3-time batting champion at 83, but let's face it, he's not very fast. He doesn't have a ton of pop in that bat. He doesn't play great defense. 83, again, save my opinions. Royce Lewis is suffering from the same rankings fate as Brandon Nimmo. Royce and Brandon have all the talent in the world, but they can't really show it if they're not on the field. Just missing out on the top 80, Mark Vientos. We know that Pete Alonso is coming back, so he will be the Mets' third baseman What does that mean for Brett Beatty? Vientos popped off for 27 home runs and a 135 OPS plus, and then popped off for another 5 home runs while hitting 330 in the postseason. Not too many problems with 90 to 81. I probably would have put Lawrence Butler a few spots up, and also I think that Royce Lewis has the talent to be a superstar. Maybe I'm not taking injury into account like I should. What do you think about me wanting to move up Lawrence Butler and Royce Lewis? And I'll say this, if Mark Vientos fixes that defense, he could be a top 40 player next year. All right, here we go, the top 80. Wow, we have back-to-back catchers. First is JT Realmuto starting us off at 80. Obviously, Father Time is catching up to JT, but he's still one of the best catchers in all of baseball. Salvador Perez finally kind of learned how to frame as a backstop, and on top of that, he went off for 27 home runs and a 120 OPS plus. I'm not saying that Salvi is a future Hall of Famer, but he's easily one of the best offensive catchers we've ever seen. Is this our first relief pitcher? I think it might be, and it seems like they stack positions or teams, and look at this. Mason Miller is at 78. You guys know just how good Mason Miller is. I don't have to talk about him. He's at 78. Right in front of him is Devin Williams at 77 again. So it seems like they stack positions or they stack teams. Mason Miller, Devin Williams. I agree with Devin being better than Mason, but Devin seems a little low, not gonna lie. Here's another example of them stacking pitchers just because it might be the easiest thing to do. At 76, Zach Gallen, one of my favorite pitchers to watch in all of baseball. By the way, do you guys remember that Zach Gallen was traded for Jazz Chisholm? One of the best win-win trades I've seen in quite some time. Our second Mariners pitcher, I wonder if Luis Castillo is gonna make the top 100. George Kirby is at 75, and Seth Lugo is at 74. Okay. Seth Lugo's changeup is as dirty as it gets. If you guys have not watched that guy pitch, please watch him. Are the Cubs leading the pack in terms of how many players we've talked about so far? Seiya Suzuki is, I believe, the 4th Cub already. He's at 73, and by the way, as a full-time DH, he was one of the best hitters in baseball last year. Wow, it could have been 5 Cubs players already. At number 72, Cody Bellinger. Honestly, with that short porch in right field and his defense, he could have a 30 home run, 10 outs above average season, and honestly, do not be shocked at all if he's a 5, 6, 7, 8 WAR player all over again. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit confusing for me. Tyler Glasnow, I love Tyler Glasnow's ceiling. They have him at 71. He's not better than Jacob deGrom, and Glasnow is just as injury prone as deGrom. So that doesn't make sense. I kind of just steamrolled into my opinion, so let's get them out right now. Like I mentioned, I believe that Devin is too low, and I'm going to stand by that. He almost has a 15 strikeouts per 9 and a 1.7 ERA since 2020. That's 222 innings of pure dominance. And again, I like Tyler Glasnow, but he should not be, 28 spots higher than Jacob deGrom? They're both injury prone, and Jacob's better. Kickstarting the top 70, we have the Reds ace. Yes, he is their ace, Hunter Green. When he came back from injury last year, he was a different human. He was so nasty down the stretch. Just like Nolan Arenado, I don't know if Michael King is going to be a Padre by the time that this video comes out. I really hope that he is, because when he's on, Michael King with that sweeper and sinker, he looks like Corey Kluber 2.0. Just ahead of Michael King, Byron Buxton. We all know that Byron is one of the better 4.5, 5 tools. Can you call him a 5 tool because the batting average kind of isn't there? I consider Byron to be a 4 tool, 4.5 tool player. When he's right, I mean, he's up there in the conversations as one of the most talented players we've seen in quite some time. At number 67, a guy who recently just followed me on Twitter. We met each other in a TikTok live. What even is that sentence? I love the internet. Michael Harris is a genuine 5-tool star in the making. I 100% agree with him being in the top 70. Oh no, is my Guardians bias about to come out? You're telling me that there are 65 players better than Steven Kwan? Okay, we'll have to see it. The modern day Dante Bichette, Kyle Schwarber is not going to be a stud in the outfield. We all know that. But when your leadoff hitter is turning in 38 home runs, somehow driving in 104 RBIs, and getting on base 37% of the time, yeah, you could make the case that he's a top 70 player. Is he better than Steven Kwan, though? I'm not sure. I did it again. Save your opinions, Fuzz. Stop getting so excited. Another Cub, Shota Imanaga. I mean, I'll just keep it simple. He earned it last year. He was really good. What were his stats last year as a rookie? He went 15-3 with a 2.91 ERA and 174 strikeouts. Wow. Yamamoto had a bunch of strikeouts last year. 105 strikeouts over 90 innings with a 3 ERA. And don't forget that he was actually pretty decent in the playoffs. A 3.8 ERA, not terrible. Marcus Semien has been a perennial, top 30, top 50 player in these rankings over the last few years. The batting average was not kind to him last year, so he's at 62. MLB thinks that Christian Yelich is going to bounce back, no pun intended. He suffered that back injury last year. Yelly was special last year. 11 home runs, 21 stolen bases, and a 315 batting average, and only 270 at-bats. He was on pace for a monster year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a biased Guardians fan. I personally believe that Steven Kwan is better than Kyle Schwarber. I know that's unpopular, but I'm going to say it. I also don't know if Marcus Semien was bad enough to the point where he's now not even in the top 50 anymore. I don't know if I agree with that. And this might be unpopular as well. I would put Hunter Green above Yamamoto in some capacity. I don't know how I would redo the rankings, but Hunter Green was nasty last year. 60 to 51, so we're nearly halfway done. Will Smith. Wow, he's not ahead of Cal Raleigh, and I'm saying wow as if I'm shocked. Cal was the better backstop last year, so there you go. 2 picks in 1. Would you look at that? We have Will Smith at 60, Cal Raleigh at 59, and Ali Rutschman at 58. So I think my thought process is correct. They kind of group positions together. 2024 was a tale of 2 halves for Ali. We know that he was a monster in the first half, hitting 280 with 16 home runs. In the second half, he only had 3 home runs and a 207 batting average. He's way better than that. So yeah, keep him in the top 60. Emmanuel Clase just had one of the greatest relief seasons of all time, at least if we're talking about the regular season. Let's not talk about the postseason. He's one of those players that MLB botched as a ranking with the shredder, and then now he's higher in their actual rankings. Makes no sense. Is Garrett Crochet going to be the Red Sox ace? Of course he is. That's a loaded question. He became the 3rd starting pitcher ever to have 200 or more strikeouts without having 150 innings thrown in a season. He's disgusting. He's 6'6", throws gas. I would never want to face him. You couldn't pay me to face him. One of the few pitchers who threw a no-hitter last year, another former White Sox. The White Sox, they breed aces left and right, and then they just kind of say, all right, you can go now. Dylan has finished top 4 in Cy Young in 2 of the last 3 years, and by the way, he has 891 strikeouts his last 716 innings. That's insane. Riley Green was a first-time All-Star last year for the Tigers, and rightfully so. A near 5.5 WAR season with 24 home runs, a 133 OPS plus, and 14 DRS. That's special. Ooh, I'm going to have some opinions about Anthony Santander being ahead of Riley Green. I know that Anthony just had the first 40 home run campaign by a switch hitter since Lance Berkman. If you guys never watched Lance Berkman, that guy raked. Regardless, I love Anthony Santander, one of the best power hitters in baseball. Pencil him in for 35 home runs. The non-switch hitting version of Teoscar Hernandez, again, you can pencil this guy in for 30 plus home runs. And surprisingly, if you guys did not know, Teoscar, he can kind of move on the bases. He's top 20% in speed. Logan Gilbert is way ahead of his counterparts, Bryce Miller and George Kirby. I know a lot of Mariners fans would probably pick George Kirby over Logan Gilbert just because George is a robot. He doesn't show any emotion. Well, let's face it, Logan had a 3.2 ERA and a near 10 strikeouts per 9. He was 6th in Cy Young, and he deserved every vote. A lot of people are going to fight on the fact that Ali is ranked above Cal Raleigh, especially considering Cal has been an absolute monster both as a defensive catcher and with the stick over the last few years, but I'm okay with this ranking. But I can't agree with Riley Green behind Anthony Santander. Anthony Santander, again, I love him. He's a fun player to watch, but he's kind of one-dimensional. Riley Green is a superstar offensive and defensive player. I mean, he's just more valuable than Santander, and I feel like that is a big part of how rankings work. We've made it to the top 50 players in baseball according to Major League Baseball, and starting us off at 50 is Logan Webb. Logan did regress a little bit in 2024, but him regressing is a 3.47 ERA. That's how good this guy is. Sort of the same situation with Pete Alonso at 49. He regressed to 34 home runs and a 123 OPS plus. That's Pete in a bad year. Sure, the defense isn't very good, but hey, he's Pete Alonso. He's a first baseman. We don't care. Unless your name is Christian Walker and you've now won 3 Gold Gloves in a row while raking in the box. Christian Walker is so underrated. He's with the Astros now, and just like Isaac Paredes, I can't wait to see what Walker can do with those Crawford boxes in left field. Oh, would you look at that? At 47, it is Marcell Ozuna of the Braves. If you know, you know. Ozuna has been on a warpath over the last few years. He has a 150 OPS plus while hitting 290 and 80 home run. Well, I'm lying. It's 79. Why did I lie? He has a combined 79 home runs his last 2 seasons. He's very, very good offensively. Brent Rooker is not only one of the best hitters in baseball, he also has one of the most entertaining Twitter accounts of anyone. Go follow him. Brent almost had a 6-win season with 39 home runs, a 293 batting average, and a whopping 165 OPS plus. He was 10th in MVP without playing much of any defense. Framber Valdez, one of the craftiest lefties in all of Major League Baseball. I love watching this guy pitch. His curveball, it's It's a thing of beauty. Here we go again with them stacking positions and potentially just lefties in general. Max Fried, he's not going to be the ace, or is he going to be the ace? Is Garrett Cole aging going to make Max Fried the new ace? Let me know. I'm just praying that Max shows up in the postseason because he dominates the regular season. October rolls around and he's not Max Fried anymore for some reason. Cole Reagans reminds me so much of Cole Hamels, but if Hamels could throw 99. As a Royal, remember, he was traded for Aroldis Chapman from the Rangers. He has a 3 ERA with 312 strikeouts and 258 innings in Kansas City. If Tarek Skubal doesn't exist, he would be a lot of people's AL Cy Young favorite. I need Carlos Correa to stay healthy. I understand that 42 is still a respectable ranking, but the dude almost put up 4 wins while hitting .310 with 14 home runs and a 152 OPS plus over 86 games. Imagine if he did that over 150. Then again, he's only played 150 games one time, and that was back in 2016. Another 30 home run campaign for Willy Adames. Can you believe that as a shortstop, he had 32 home runs, 21 stolen bases, a 120 OPS plus, and for whatever reason, the defense flipped. He went from a very good defender to a bad defender. I shouldn't say bad because outs above average still liked him, but he turned in a -16 DRS. That's an ouchie. With that being said, I actually might rank Anthony Santander and Riley Green above Pete Alonso. Again, Pete Alonso is fantastic at hitting home runs. That's about it. Mets fans are not going to like me for that one, but I'd probably move Pete Alonso down. I'd do some shuffling to include Riley Green in the top 50. Maybe Pete is still in the top 50, but Riley, he's way too low. Other than that, having Willy Adames above Carlos Correa, I know injuries are going to play a big part in these rankings. I just think that Correa is better than Willy. Making our way to the top 40, the 20-year-old phenom, yes, he's still 20, Jackson Chourio. He hit .315 in June, .317 in July, and .321 in August with an .830 OPS in the final month of the season, September. He also had 5 outs above average and his top 3% in speed. He's a mutant. No. Mike Trout at 39, MLB, what are we doing? Mike Trout on one leg is still a top 20 player. Mike Trout had 10 home runs in 29 games last year. That's like a 55 home run pace. He had a 140 OPS plus despite the fact that he was the unluckiest hitter while he was playing. I'm moving on. I can't stay frustrated. We got a video to record. Matt Chapman, this guy was out of this world last year. Check this out. He won another Gold Glove, so he's now a 5-time Gold Glove and 2-time Platinum Glover. 27 home runs, 15 stolen bases because for whatever reason at 31 years old, he just got faster. Like actually, he improved his speed. Ooh, I gotta hold my opinions. Alex Bregman, he didn't have the greatest 2024, so putting him ahead of Matt Chapman is certainly a choice, and especially ahead of Mike Trout. But hey, Bregman with the monster out there in left field in Fenway, he could be no pun intended, a monster. I think he hits like 380 with a near 500 on base in Boston. Them are some crazy stats. As you can see, we've been getting into some very juicy names. Blake Snell, who is joining the Dodgers super rotation, a 2-time Cy Young, one of the few guys in history who's won a Cy Young in both the AL and the NL. I feel like this is a little low. I'm just going to throw that out there. By the way, fun fact from Fuzzy, he holds the record right now for the highest K per 9 of any starting pitcher and 11.2 career strikeouts per 9. Wait, hold up. Trey Turner at 35. What did he do last year? 21 home runs, 19 stolen bases, a 125 OPS plus. The defense, ooh, it was stinky. So I guess because of the -14 DRS and -3 outs above average, even with the elite offense, Trey, he's at 35. Matt Olson is so good that he can fall off, and him falling off is 29 home runs at 98 RBIs and only, I put that in air quotes, a 118 OPS plus. I know when we talked about Pete Alonso, I said we don't care about first base defense, but Matt Olson being 6'5", 6'6" with 13 DRS and 3 outs above average, that's special. Austin Riley, please stay healthy. I know it wasn't really his fault. I believe that he got hit by a pitch. It's just that when he was healthy, he wasn't the Austin Riley that we know and love. Maybe he just couldn't find that rhythm. But when he's right, top 20 player, right? We have some freaks coming up at 32 and 31. Corbin Carroll, we know that he is one of the most electric players in baseball. The fact that he still somehow ended up with 22 home runs, 35 stolen bases, and 121 runs scored while being bad for 3 or 4 months blows my mind. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it in the comments. Ooh, Ellie De La Cruz, he strikes out too much. Well, guys, he also gets on base 34% of the time, almost stole 70 bags while hitting 36 doubles, 10 triples, 25 home runs. And oh, by the way, according to Baseball Savant StatCast and outs above average, he was one of the best defenders in baseball. He makes plays that almost no one can. Obviously, my biggest issue with this video, Mike Trout being at 39, the unmitigated gall, the blasphemy of Major League Baseball to put our GOAT, like I know Shohei's kind of like the new GOAT, but my generation's GOAT, Mike Trout, at 39. No. Also, I personally think that Matt Chapman is better than Alex Bregman. I think that Austin Riley, despite the fact that, yeah, he regressed and was injured, he's better than 33. And you're going to see some other pitchers going forward. Me personally, Blake Snell, he should be way higher than 36. I feel like a bad baseball fan, but I remember Jose being pretty good last year, but I don't know about top 30 good. 20 home runs, 22 stolen bases, a 126 OPS plus, and 15th in MVP. It's got to be the track record. He's Jose Altuve. Same thing with Manny Machado, the track record and him just being named Manny Machado kind of helped him out in this ranking, at least I think. The defense, it was still decent, and the offense, it was decent as well. I say decent as if he didn't have 29 home runs, 105 RBIs, and a 120 OPS plus, but we're used to like 130, 150 OPS plus Manny with platinum defense. It's almost hard to believe that the Braves at one point also had William Contreras on their roster. He just narrowly missed back-to-back 40 double campaigns. Last year, he got up to 23 home runs, a new career high. He's otherworldly. Jarren Duran honestly had one of the best 5-tool seasons we've seen in a while. I'm not even being hyperbolic. 48 doubles, 14 triples, 21 home runs, 34 stolen bases while hitting 285 and a 130 OPS plus with 23 defensive run saves. What even is that? He almost had a 9 wins above replacement. 9! I don't know about you guys, but after seeing Garrett Cole get hosed by his defense in the World Series last year, I feel like he's going to go off, which is crazy to predict considering the hits per 9 got worse, the walks per 9 got worse, and also he didn't strike out as many guys, but he's Garrett Cole. I have faith. Corbin Burnes deserves to be this high, but if you ask a lot of baseball fans across the community, a lot of fans are thinking that Corbin is due for regression. The main thing is that he doesn't throw as hard and he doesn't strike out as many guys as before. The strikeouts per 9 went from 10.8 to 9.3 to 8.4, but he had a 2.9 ERA. It still works. Wow, Jackson Merrill. He's very high on these rankings. I mean, when you're 21 years old and you go from shortstop to center field, play Gold Glove defense with 24 home runs, 16 stolen bases, and a 130 OPS plus as a rookie, yeah, you deserve it. J-Rod is one of the most confusing players in all of baseball because in the first half, he's pretty good. In the second half, he's an all-time great. I mean, look at his career splits. In the first half, he has a 264 batting average and a 740 OPS. In the second half, he hits 300 with a 903 OPS. And of course, no matter if it's the first half or second half, that defense, it never slumps. Call me a Glazer, call me a fanboy. Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of the best players I've ever seen with my little eyeballs. He recently won a platinum glove at a brand new position, and after missing a few games in 2024, he went crazy in the postseason. And for his postseason career, he's batting .375 with 6 home runs and 12 RBIs in 13 games. He's as good and clutch as it gets. And just missing out on the top 20, one of the most talented hitters in baseball, Rafael Devers. I know the defense is absolutely buns, but he's got 200 career home runs on the dot, a bunch of doubles. Don't be shocked at all if he has 1,000 extra base hits once it's all said and done. He was actually playing better than J-Ram and kind of took the mantle of best third baseman before hitting .244 in the second half. I know I hinted at this, but I do feel like Altuve and Machado got a lot of the kind of personal bias votes because of how good they've been in the past, and again, that has to count for something. Call me crazy, but I would rather have Corbin Carroll and Ellie before Jose Altuve. Now, again, no disrespect to one of the greatest second basemen ever. I just think they bring a little bit more value. This might shock you guys as well, and maybe I'm just a fanboy of Jarren Duran because he reminds me of my favorite player, Grady Sizemore. Jarren's monster season deserves to be a top 20 player. Again, that's just me. The top 20, Chris Sale, who was coming off a Cy Young season at 35 years old. I'm so happy that he finally won one. He's a future Hall of Famer. I don't have any more to say about Chris Sale. Zach Wheeler, wow. His 2024 rank was 28, so MLB really likes this guy. They've been high on him for quite some time. And looking at his stats over the last few years, yeah, I can see why they are so kind to him. I just don't know if I like pitchers more than positional players, but that just might be a personal preference. No one stood a shot at winning NL MVP last year, but Ketel Marte had a historic season. Don't get it twisted. Really, really good defense. 36 home runs while hitting .292 and a 155 OPS plus. He's had some monster years. Like back in 2019, he hit .330 with 32 home runs. Corey Seager, I mean, a 2-time World Series MVP. If we're talking about some of the best offensive middle infielders this game has seen, Corey Seager's in that conversation. If you don't think so, you just don't know ball. A slumping Corey Seager still hit .280 with 30 home runs. Who can do that while slumping? It blows my mind that Ronald Acuna Jr. has 145 doubles, 165 home runs, 196 stolen bases while missing a bunch of time in his 20s with injury. Like, those stats should not be possible. Last time he was healthy, he went 41 home runs with 73 stolen bases. I want to see that again. There he is. There he is, Mr. Paul Skeens. His rookie debut patch card, I think, is going for millions of dollars. He started the All-Star game as a rookie and ended his rookie season with a 1.96 ERA and 170 strikeouts in 133 innings. Just mythical stuff. Is it possible that Kyle Tucker has somehow become the most underrated player in baseball all over again? Because he used to be, then we all kind of said, wow, Kyle Tucker's insane. In 78 games last year, Kyle had 23 home runs and an almost 5 WAR season. Just imagine if he doubled that. He would have had an almost 10 WAR season and almost 50 home runs. My king, I took so much flack for defending Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over the last few years. I want an apology, okay? People wrote off his 2021 as an outlier season. He can't ever get back there because he hits the ball in the ground. Well, Vladdy, he just hit 330 or something crazy like that. I know Bryce had a few decent defensive seasons out there in the outfield, but I wonder what Bryce's career WAR would be if he just played first base, because he plays a mean defensive first base. Tack on 30 home runs and a 150 OPS plus with a 373 on base. Yeah, welcome to the top 20, Bryce. Tarek Skubal. Just like you couldn't pay me to face Garrett Crochet, you could not pay me $1 million, maybe $1 million. Nah, I don't think I'd do it. Tarek basically looks like Waluigi out there, 6'3", lanky, has all these limbs flying at you. I mean, again, he looks like Waluigi. He had a 2.39 ERA, 228 strikeouts. He won, didn't he win the Triple Crown? He did. Just, don't let him face Lane Thomas. I'm sorry, I had to get that in there. In terms of the top 20, I probably would have put Chris Sale above Zach Wheeler, so just flip-flop. And the rest of them, I actually don't really think I have a problem with. Maybe Ronald is too low, but again, we're factoring in that knee. It has to matter in some capacity. You can't say he's a top 5 player if he's not playing 140 games. People are going to say, see, Fuzzy, you gotcha. You just got yourself. Mike Trout's not going to play 140. You don't know that. We all thought that Aaron Judge was injury-prone and he would never play 150 games. Well, he just did. I'll say this as well. As much as I love Vladdy, he's not better than Kyle Tucker. Let me just put that out there. Let's do it. The top 10, I think I can say this, my friend Gunnar Henderson. I mean, we follow each other on Instagram. We talk from time to time about Legos. Is he my friend? Are you kidding me? Sometimes I forget just how good he was last year at 23 years old. A 9.1 WAR on Baseball Reference with 37 home runs, 21 stolen bases, a 160 OPS plus, and great defense. I mean, this guy might have 100 WAR before it's all said and done. My guy, Mr. La Parra, Jose Ramirez. I feel like this is a perfect ranking at number 9. I'm still so mad that MLB canceled the final game of the season. He was 1 home run away from joining 40-40. He had 39 doubles, 39 home runs, 41 stolen bases, and actually the defense, 6 DRS. Nice, J-Ram. If this guy doesn't make the Hall of Fame, there's no point in even having a Hall of Fame. Frederick, as Anthony Rizzo used to say in Pickles with Freddie Freeman, Freddie Freeman is at 8. Freddie basically had his version of a Kirk Gibson moment, hitting a walk-off grand slam in the World Series, basically with one good ankle. That a down Freddie Freeman season is 35 doubles, 22 home runs, only 89 RBIs, and a 143 OPS plus. Some of these guys, I mean, I don't think we appreciate them enough with how freakishly good they are. Whoa, Yordan Alvarez? I love Yordan. He might be the best pure hitter in baseball. Ahead of Freddie Freeman and J-Ram. Okay, let me say my opinions. Since 2022, he's hitting 303 with a 176 OPS plus. That's a 988 OPS, by the way. He has a 401 on base. 35 home runs last year in 147 games. Francisco Lindor almost cracks the top 5. You guys know I love Lindor, a former Guardian. It still pains me that we couldn't have a J-Ram Lindor left side of the infield for forever, but he's been a great Met so far. I mean, what more do you want out of a shortstop? Platinum defense, 30-30 capabilities in the box. A generational player right here. Here we go. We've made it to the top 5. Mookie, Mr. Marcus Lindbetz, is at 5. Last year they had him at number 2. He finally broke out in the playoffs. He had more walks than strikeouts with 5 doubles, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs across 16 games. That's nutty. We're not going to talk about the fact that he doesn't play the best defensive shortstop. He's Mookie Betts. I feel like we can just leave it there. Juan Soto. I wish that they would have put his, like a jersey swap in there. Sorry, Yankees fans, for the jump scare. Just like Mookie Betts and his defense at shortstop, we don't have to talk about Juan Soto's defense in the outfield. We know what it is. He had 41 home runs last year, a career high. He had a 180 OPS plus, and again, as a Guardians fan, that playoffs was special. You guys already saw this one. Bobby Witt Jr. is the number 3 best player in baseball according to MLB, while also somehow being the 4th best shortstop. Make it make sense. I don't know if we're ever going to see a season like Bobby just had ever again. I mean, 332 batting average, 32 home runs, 31 stolen bases, 109 RBIs, a 171 OPS plus. I could run out of breath with how good he was. What about the defense? Oh, check this out. 16 outs above average and the fastest human in baseball last year. A pantheon. That's the only word I can say. A pantheon player. Can't say pantheon players without these next two players. Aaron Judge, he just misses number one. Honestly, I feel like if he didn't drop that ball and have another dreadful postseason, he might have had a chance at number one. Come on, guys. 58 home runs, 144 RBIs, a 460 on base, and a 223 OPS plus. What even did I just say out loud? You guys also have to remember he was intentionally walked 20 times and walked regularly 133 times. He only had 559 at-bats compared to the number one guy, Ohtani. Just for reference, Ohtani, we all knew that he was probably going to be number one because of Judge's postseason, but Ohtani had 636 at-bats, so a lot more than Judge. 54 home runs, 130 RBIs, 59 stolen bases. He created the 50-50 club while hitting .310, a magical season. And that's me underselling it, a magical season, like a genuine one-of-one season that will never happen ever again unless Shohei does it again. I agree with mostly everything. I would have moved Yordan down to 10. I'm definitely putting a two-way star Gunnar Henderson above Yordan Alvarez. I'm just doing that every time. I'm putting Gunnar above J-Ram as well, so I'd probably go Yordan, J-Ram, Gunnar Henderson, and then the rest is kind of fine, right? But if you're wondering, yes, I do agree with Ohtani as the number one guy. He's back to pitching. That counts for a lot. And there you have the top 100 players in 2025 according to Major League Baseball. Some names that were left out that I thought could have possibly made it: O'Neal Cruz, Colton Cowser, Bo Bichette, because he was awful last year, but he's Bo Bichette, Giancarlo Stanton, Eugenio Suarez, Zach Neto, Ezekiel Tovar, Tanner Bybee, Hunter Brown, Kevin Gausman, Freddie Peralta. I'm sure I'm missing someone. But that does it. Thank you all so much for watching. I know it was kind of a big boy of a video. Shout out to my editor, Pesky Talk. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.